Hi, I'm Max. I'm the creator behind Eat the Rich Art. I use he, and they, them pronouns, and I wanted to show you what I made this week, so I thought I'd pop on. I'm going to apologise right now. You are going to hear some rustling and maybe some cat yelling in the background. She's fine. She's just chosen now to play, and now is the only time I have to film and sort this video out for upload tomorrow because my partner needs our laptop for university. So, apologies in advance. But let's get to it. Relax, get to it. Right, so let's start on Monday. I've had a bit of a crochet block this week. Still got a decent amount done, but I've just been struggling to motivate myself, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, it's just been one of those weeks where I've got a lot of stock left for markets, and a lot of the stuff that's sold was stuff that I don't want to make again, or at least not anytime soon. The new patterns I was excited to have on the table, most of the ones I wanted to make more of didn't sell. My derpy ties are sold, but I've not got the yarn that I need to replace them, so I can't make those right now in the right colours. Misty, please. Thank you. So yeah, I thought I'd start the week off by doing some bits that I'd been asked to do by my partner, to see if that got the creative juices flowing again. That sort of took the pressure out of the decision. So I've made a pufferfish in the tropical teal that I use for derpies. So that's him. This is the pattern by Melly Inspired Crochet. Because I did him in Yarnsmith Chenille this time instead of Parfait Chunky, he's so much smaller, which is really cute. And then my partner asked for him to be made into a bag charm, so he is. So that was number one. I made that on Monday. Obviously, he is not going to go on the table, so there's no cost for him. He used 16 grams of yarn, and then the second thing my partner asked for was also in that tropical teal that I use for derpies, and that nearly finished the ball off. Yeah, so this is the Baphomet. This is the Baby Bad Goat pattern by Crochet Kitty Creations on Ribbler. Made him in the blue. He's very cute, he's adorable. He turned out a little wonky, but that's fine. I do like the size that he turned out in as well. In this yarn, he's quite small. So he used 58 grams of yarn in total, 49 in dark teal, and 9 grams of black for him. And I made him on Tuesday. So then I had a bit of a break on Wednesday. Sorry, I'm just checking my dates. I think I've got a date wrong, but I can't work out where. So yes, I made a pufferfish and a Baphomet. Then on Wednesday, I started this guy. So this is for the Traveller's Wheel Challenge. It's a purple Arctic creature. I need to send this off to Elaine. But yeah, so that's him. I just realised that I forgot to do the face shaping, so I'll get that done, but without the face shaping. He took 103 grams of yarn, 43 grams in white, and 58 in purple. Yeah, he's just so cute. I love him. I love making polar bears. I really hope the hoodie bears start to sell at the next market, because I want to make so many more of them, but if I can't shift the 3 I've got, then there's no point in me making more of them. They are adorable. Then after that, I made... Now we've got to Thursday. I made another possum just to use up the grey that I had left over. So we have used quite a bit of yarn this week, actually. I'm going to fill you in on what I made, but yes, I made a possum. This is by Emmylou Roach, and it used 4 grams of black, 17 grams of silver, 8 grams of white, and 2 grams of pink, for a total of 32 grams of yarn in this guy. And forgot to say, I sell my hoodie bears for £12 and my possums for £9. So that's £21 of stock I made this week so far. Then after that, I had a couple of scraps I wanted to use up. So on Friday, I had a bit of a scrap busting day. Using the last little bit of silver, I made a little wrap. So this is the pattern made by Amber Al on Ribbler. This used 16 grams of yarn, 6 grams of white, 6 grams of silver and 4 grams of pink. So that's how I used the silver up. Then I had a bit of white left and I also had some brown that I wanted to use up. So to start with, I made a gummy cat because I knew that I wanted to restock my cats, but I knew I wanted to have a brown one available. So I thought if I make this first and then use what's left of the brown on the wrap, I can make a fun pattern that doesn't really matter as much, like how much is left, because I knew that I wouldn't be able to get a fully brown wrap and a fully brown cat out of this bit of rust that I had left. So the gummy cat took 11 grams of yarn. In total, this is the pattern by Pandas Crochet. So I made one of them. Then the next thing I did was use the rest of the brown up on this little guy. This again is back to the Made by Amber Owl pattern. He used 2 grams of rust, 10 grams of white and 4 grams of pink to make him, plus a little bit of black obviously for the embroidery and the eyes. That was 2 rats that I've made. I sell my rats for £4 each, and I sell my gummy cats for £4 each as well. I did also make this guy on Friday in the black, just while I was making cats. I figured get a black one done as well. I don't have enough white left to make a white cat, which is a shame because I did want to make a white one, but I feel like 2 is enough for my next market. So that brings us to a total of another 13 grams of yarn used on the black cat. So that is 21 plus 16, so that's £37 so far of stock. And then the next thing that I did, sort of Friday, Saturday, and then a little bit this morning just to finish off, was I wanted to restock my demogorgons. So I finished off this parfait grey that I had with this guy. He used, this is the just one crocheting pattern that everyone uses. This is the snuggler pattern, but I stuff it. So this used 61 grams of yarn on this one because I really had to take some yarn saving precautions on him because I really didn't have much of the grey left at all. So that was 4 grams of black, 9 grams of red, 47 grams of grey and 1 gram of white on him. And then the next thing that I made was, I sort of market prepped them, so I can't remember what order I finished them in. I think the next one was this cream one. Then I've made a pink one. Then I've made a tan one, which is the colour that a lot of people work in. If this guy goes well, I have a lot of tan yarn left, so I'll probably just keep making tan ones so that I don't have to put a yarn order in for grey, but I do prefer the grey personally. So the cream one used 5 grams of black, 9 grams of red, 1 gram of white and 65 grams of cream. The pink one used the same, except he used 59 grams of pink rather than 65 grams. Honestly, don't know why. Did him exactly the same hook, exactly the same tension even, I think, because they're about the same size from what I can see. It just used a bit less. I don't know if it's just a slightly less dense yarn maybe. And then the last one was the tan one, which again we've used less of the body colour. We've used 56 grams on the tan, but the same amount of the rest of the colours. So 4 grams black, 9 grams red and 1 gram of white. So that was him. I do think he's turned out a little smaller in some way, but I can't work out how. He's like narrower, again, even though I've done the pattern exactly the same. It's a bit weird, these variations you get in your patterns. But I sell those for £12 each, so that is another 48 grams added to the stock, which brings us up to a lovely grand total, if I can work it out in my head right now. So that is 12, 24, 36, 48. This one is 4, so that's 52, 56, 60, 64, 73, 85 pounds worth of stock, which brings us up to 103 pounds in total for the week, because the last thing I made today, and it's this adorable dragon out of the Banat Blanket Twist in blue and the Elise Voluto white that I've got left. This is the dragon by Planet Crochet on Rippler. It's quite a high sew pattern, but I have worked it out in a way that I make it less of a sew. So in the way they write the pattern, every single piece is sewn on. So you work from the head through to the tail, and that is the only piece that's made in one. So each individual leg is sewn on, each individual wing is sewn on, and then each individually done knobbly bit is made and sewn on. But the way I do it is I surface crochet the knobbly bits on, so I chain 4, double crochet back down the chain, and then sew it down to make it into a little knobbly bit, because I've tried doing it with bobble stitch. I just don't like the way it looks, so that's what I do with those. Then weave the ends in, obviously. The ears I do still sew on, the wings I do still sew on, and the legs I do still do separately, but that makes it 6 less things to sew on by surface crocheting them, so halves the amount of sewing that you have to do, which makes them a lot quicker and easier. I made this guy in probably 2 hours rather than the 3 or 4 I think it took me the first time I made it, where I did make it properly and sew everything on. So yeah, and he's turned out really cute in the blue, which I'm glad about, because I've still got just over 300 grams of this yarn left, and I was really worried, like panicking worried, that I've bought so much of it, I only used it on octopuses, and then the octopuses haven't sold, that I was going to really struggle to get rid of that yarn. But I really like the way he looks on dragons, so if he goes well, I'll keep making dragons in the same yarn as well. So that gives me another pattern to add to the things I can use that yarn for. I do also want to try a stingray and a turtle, a bigger turtle, see how they look and see if I can add those to the roster of things I finish this yarn off on as well, because my aim is to finish the 4 balls of yarn I still have from, well, 5 technically balls of yarn I still have from the Creative Craft Show in November before I go to the Creative Craft Show in March. So that is 3 balls of rainbow DK. So I think I'm going to make a couple of market bags, the mesh market bags that Passionate Kelsey makes. I'm going to track that pattern down, make some of those, and then try and finish off the ball, 300 gram ball, plus the 30 grams of this I have left still, as well, on various patterns. So cross fingers that the market on the 28th goes well, and I shift some of the stuff that I made in this yarn so that I know what works with it and have the excuse then to replace those items. So yeah, that used 117 grams of yarn. That was 21 grams of white and 96 grams of blue. And like I said, that brings us up to 103 pounds of stock. Yarn used over the entire week is 666 grams. Again, I keep doing this. A week's worth of crochet seems to always come back to 666 for me. My Friday the 13th challenge did as well, so that's an interesting one for me. But yeah, so I used another 600-ish grams of yarn this week. We finished, how many balls of yarn did we finish off? 1, 2, 3, I think we finished 4, oh no, because we finished a tan ball as well. This was, the head was done using a scrap I had left of 1 ball, and then I've moved on to the fresh ball for the body. So that means that we finished 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 balls of yarn this week, I think. So that is 1 ball of Parfait Chunky in the colour tan, 1 ball of Parfait Chunky in the colour grey, 1 ball of Yarnsmith Chenille Chunky in white, 1 ball of Yarnsmith Chenille Chunky in rust, and 1 in silver. So That means that the balls used in February is 10, and we've used 1,246 grams of yarn from finished balls specifically so far in February. Grams of yarn we've used, no matter if the ball was finished or not, brings us to 2,281 grams used in February so far. So we're doing quite well. Left in the stash we have just under 5,000 grams of yarn left. 59 balls, but a lot of those are small scrappy balls. And then the grams remaining in whole balls is 7.5 kilos. Obviously, again, that doesn't count the fact that I have used quite a lot of bits of balls. They're just not finished. So the accurate count is 5,003 grams remaining in my stash. So if we can get that down to like nearer 4,000 by the time the Creative Craft Show comes around, that would be nice. But yeah, and I think I would also like to use up all of the scrappy bits I have before that. I'm debating though. I have a lot of DK left and I just don't know what to do with it. So do you think, I'm asking for your input here, so listen carefully. Do you think that people would like it if I offered gift bags at markets? So I'd make little knitting machine pouches, drawstring pouches, that for an extra £1 or £2, just to recoup the cost of the yarn, people could buy a gift bag for the plush to go into, and then it's a reusable gift bag for them as well. So it also acts as like a toiletries pouch and stuff for when they go away. Do you think people would like that? Would you opt for that option if you were buying from someone at a market? Just because I've got lots of bits of DK that aren't enough to make a wearable, and my wearables haven't really been selling much, so if I can find another way of using it, that would be great. But yeah, so input on that in the comments if you want to. I can't make you do anything. I'm so tired. I'm sorry, I'm going to stop rambling. Yeah, let me know what your favourite make was, if you want to see more of my makes, or if you want to see the challenge video I have coming this Friday. Please drop me a subscribe and hit the notification bell so that YouTube tells you when I upload those. I upload a what I make this week video every Monday. I upload market recaps and challenges, and I'm going to be doing some yarn and pattern reviews. They go up on Fridays. All of my videos go up between 12 and 3 GMT. UK time, when I remember to upload them. Sometimes they go up late because I've just forgot, but I always try and get them out same day. So that is the situation. Yeah, like, subscribe. All of this will be available on my Ko-fi store in the next few days. I work full time. Sometimes it takes me a couple of days to get stuff uploaded. But if there's anything you like the look of and it's not on the store when you look, please just drop me a message. I'm always happy to get it sorted and get it uploaded. And I think that is everything I have to tell you. So don't do what I do. Don't stay up at ridiculous times of night to film, and have a nice day.